Hey, welcome to our explainer. If you've ever worked in a big organization, you know the feeling, that friction that comes with an audit, right? It's this endless cycle of building something, then having it checked, and let's be honest, often having to redo it. But what if there was a way to just get it right on the first try? Well, today, we're going to break down a system that's designed to do exactly that.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at why there's this disconnect between the people who build things and the people who audit them. Then, we'll introduce a new idea called DVMS and see how it completely changes the game from audits to assurance. We'll even get into the nuts and bolts of how it works. And finally, we'll talk about building for audit readiness by design and the huge ripple effect this can have on an entire company.
All right, so let's dive right in. To really get to the bottom of this, we have to understand this thing called the audit disconnect. Why is there always so much tension in this process?
It's a question you hear in hallways and conference rooms all the time. Teams work so hard to build these amazing functional systems, only to get stuck in this frustrating back and forth with auditors. It causes delays, it causes rework, it's just exhausting. But the reason for all this friction, it's not because anyone has bad intentions. It really just comes down to a major difference in perspective.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. You've basically got two different worlds. Implementers, the builders, they're all about moving forward. They're focused on making things work, making them fast and getting them out the door. Auditors, on the other hand, their job is to look back. They're focused on compliance, managing risk, and, most importantly, evidence, proof. Now, everyone shares the same goal, a healthy, successful company, but their day-to-day functions create this natural tension.
So, how in the world do you bridge that gap? Well, that brings us to the big solution we're talking about today, the Digital Value Management System, or DVMS for short. You can think of it as a translator, or even a bridge connecting these two very different worlds.
Okay, so what is a DVMS? It's not just another app or a piece of software you install. It's a whole new way of thinking. The keywords here are embeds and directly into the design. This is all about building assurance in from the very beginning, not trying to bolt it on at the end.
And this is the payoff. This is what everybody wants, right? The core promise of a DVMS is to turn that painful, unpredictable audit into a simple, predictable check. I mean, just imagine the amount of time, money, and stress that would save. Now, to make good on that promise, DVMS demands a really big shift in how we think. It's all about moving away from that old model of reactive, once-in-a-while audits and moving toward a new world of continuous, proactive assurance. And you can see the difference right here. The old way is totally reactive. You build something and then you scramble to find all the evidence, just hoping it's what the auditors are looking for. The new way? It's proactive. The system is automatically generating evidence as it operates, validating that you're in compliance in real time. This is the secret sauce that gets rid of all that guesswork and all that painful rework. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, but how does DVMS actually pull this off? Let's get into the mechanics of how it really works.
It really comes down to these four pillars. First, it standardizes everything, so there's no more arguing about what a control is or what counts as evidence. Second, it makes it super clear who is responsible for what. Third, and this is huge, it creates a common language for everyone to use. And fourth, it automates the whole process of collecting and analyzing data.
And that third pillar, the common language, is so important. This is how you get everyone aligned. When implementers and auditors are working from the exact same playbook, using the same definitions, the same metrics, the same models, that gap we talked about earlier just disappears. There are no more misunderstandings because everybody is literally speaking the same language.
So all of this leads to this really powerful concept, audit readiness by design. Instead of that last-minute scramble to get ready for an audit, you're building systems that are just always ready.
I just love this quote. Building systems that prove themselves. Think about that. With a DVMS, the proof of compliance isn't something you have to go hunt for after the fact. It's a natural byproduct of the system just doing its job. The proof is generated automatically every single second of every single day. And this is what makes it so proactive. The system is constantly analyzing the evidence it's gathering. If it finds a problem or a weakness, it automatically triggers a fix. It's a closed-loop system, which means issues get found and fixed long before an auditor even walks in the door. Look, passing an audit on the first try is a massive win, but the impact of this approach goes way, way beyond that. Let's talk about the bigger benefits for the entire organization. So yeah, of course, the audit burden goes way down.
But check this out. Leaders now have reliable, real-time data to make smarter, faster decisions. And maybe the most important thing, it creates a culture where accountability isn't just some abstract idea. It's built right into how people work, which drives improvement across the whole company.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this fundamental shift in mindset. It's about moving beyond just prepping for an audit and moving towards designing systems for continuous assurance, where compliance and quality are just part of the job every single day.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. Take a hard look at your own organization's processes. Are they built around that reactive stress of getting ready for an audit? Or are they actually designed from the ground up for proactive, continuous assurance? The answer to that could change everything. Thanks so much for tuning in.